1 second. Hold on. Sorry. Welcome to the NCAA March Madness first round post-game press conference. Please take this time to silence your cell phones and remember no flash photography is permitted. Also, the only distribution for this event is through NCAA protocols. So please remember that as well, so no other outside recordings. We are joined by Kansas head coach Brandon Schneider and athletes Samaya Nichols and Zakiah Franklin. We ask that you please only ask a question when you have the microphone in your hand and that you state your name and publication each time you are handed the microphone. If you've joined us through Zoom, please raise your hand and include your name and publication when you are called on as well. Thank you. We will begin with an opening statement from Coach, move to questions for the athletes, and then back to Coach.
I give Michigan a lot of credit. I thought they were by far the best team for 3 quarters. Williams in particular, did some things to us and that typically players don't have success with, and that's, being very aggressive in attacking Jackson. But I couldn't be prouder of our team's resilience, and they never fragmented. They just stayed the course and obviously made some really, really big plays offensively that, were preceded by, key stop after key stop. And made a lot of big threes tonight, but none bigger than, fifth-year senior Zakiah Franklin. I couldn't be prouder of her.
Some questions from the room? We'll start in the back.
Ben Hook, the University Daily Kansan. Coach, how do you keep your team composed and keep them ready to get back in a game when you go down by 10 points with that little time on the clock?
I think that's, experience and leadership, and then you have a freshman in, Samaya that's just beyond her years in terms of her poise and composure. So, I think our team believes in each other. They're very proud of what they've become. And, I just think that there's a great level of trust.
For the next questions, can we please remember to start with the athletes, and then we'll revisit Coach after they finish. Thank you.
Zakiah, you had that huge 3 at the end of the game. Just walk me through, what was the play design? How did it end up in your hands? And then just kind of the emotions going through and taking that into overtime.
Pretty much we run this play all the time when it's late clock. We kind of ran it, and they took away the main 2 options that we had. And it's just one option that's pretty always open, and it actually was. So I kind of just shot the ball. So from that, the emotions were still high. We felt like we were still having time to play. And as you can see, everyone was excited, but it was still, more to be done.
So, Mike, can you talk about what it means to have a leader like this step up, not only in that play, but kind of throughout the game, had over 20 points, played really well today?
100%. Yeah, KB is, I feel like, one-of-a-kind player. She can do many things that I know I can't do. But just the trust that everyone on the team has for her, we trust her to get to the rack. We know that she can provide on offense and defense for this team, and I feel like she played great on both sides of the ball.
David Waxman, Big 12 Conference for Zakiah. That shot, the game-tying shot, when it bounced off the rim, what was going through your mind? Did you know it was going to roll in, or what was going through your mind?
Like Coach said today, he was like, you must be living right. So that, I'm thinking okay, I shot the ball. From there, it hit the rim a couple times, so I'm like, it has to go in. But we lived with the results, and we survived and we advanced. So.
For Samaya, this was your first NCAA tournament game. Did it live up to the hype of March Madness? What was going through your head playing this first game?
Yes, I think March is honestly about getting everyone's best basketball, and I feel like Michigan definitely delivered, like he said, for the 3 quarters. They played great the whole game, for real. And I think it lived up to it. It was exciting, back and forth, not easy. And, I mean, that's what we play for.
Ben Hook, University Daily Kansan. For Samaya, you sort of struggled for about 3/4 of the game, and then you found yourself in that fourth quarter. What did you have to change about your game to sort of get going and get those shots going in the fourth quarter, and especially in overtime?
Yeah, I feel like at that point, I was just going to need to make the right play, whether that's hitting my teammate for an open shot, whether that is boxing out. That's the play always. Sorry, my bad. But an aggressive box out, just pressuring the ball. I had to contribute in some way, and I feel like I definitely made that switch. And then just, knocking down the free throws.
Do we have any last questions for the athletes? All right, we can move on to questions for Coach. Thank you.
Casey Kaslan, Annenberg Media. Coach, you guys kind of started out slow to begin the game, but obviously picked it up towards the end. What was sort of the turning point in your mind as the game went on?
Well, I thought there was multiple turning points. Michigan came out and played zone on all makes, which threw us off a little bit. That was not something that we had practiced. Hadn't seen them do that much at all, this year. And finally got into a little bit of a rhythm and made some threes. I thought Ryan Cobbins came off the bench and made some big plays. But ultimately, we just played too timid defensively. We got in a little bit of foul trouble, and we weren't near as assertive as we needed to be. So I thought the fourth quarter, we really picked up our defensive intensity, and we're able to feed off of that.
Hi, Lily Coleman, Annenberg Media. When the game went into overtime, I'm curious what you told your team, like what the biggest goals were for play in overtime.
Yeah, just keep getting stops. Number one, I think that's what really got us back in the game. And then, we were in the bonus. So, challenged everyone to just, don't leave the offensive end without a paint touch and an opportunity to get to the free throw line.
Zach Edwards, Michigan Daily. Kind of same question I had for Samaya. What do you think of Zakai Franklin's performance today and how she just stepped up?
The kid's a winner, and that's why we recruited her. Our program came from the very, very bottom of the Power Five, and we needed a kid like that was used to winning, that, quite frankly, if you came up short, was going to be pissed off when you got on the bus or the plane. And, that's all she's done is help change our program around. And I think it's very, very fitting that maybe one of the bigger plays in Kansas women's basketball history.
Another question. You guys are a very experienced group this year, and last year won the WNIT, and looking to really cement yourself as an NCAA tournament today, and you get the win. What does it mean just for this program to be able to move on to that second round?
It means a lot, especially playing a team as good as Michigan, and a program as established, I think, 6 straight NCAA tournament appearances. So, we're just trying to be a real program, and, one that can advance in the NCAA tournament and hopefully one day compete for Big 12 titles.
Any last questions?
David Waxman, Big 12 Conference. There's been a couple of big comebacks in the tournament this year. Obviously, Iowa State, Middle Tennessee. When you're down 9 in the fourth quarter, is that something you tell your team about, or is it really just
No, we don't. We wouldn't talk about that in game. But David, I was part of a game where we were down 6 with 2.6 seconds left, and we won. So we do talk about that. Nothing is outside of. You play you play till the buzzer goes off, and you compete hard. And but obviously we talked about at dinner last night just Audie's performance and Iowa State's comeback. That's a program that we respect a great deal. So there was some conversations about that performance.
And we do have a question from the Zoom. It'll be channeled in through some speakers, okay? Landon, you may ask your question. Landon on Zoom.
Oh, hey, sorry. Hey, Coach. This is this is Landon Reinhardt with KSNT here in Topeka. But we know that you know what these girls were capable of, but seeing them put it together, especially down the stretch, how vindicating is that for you, knowing all the work that you've put in?
I'm just proud of them. They've been a really resilient group, and the sense of urgency that they played with in February to position themselves to be a tournament team. It doesn't surprise me that they are not phased, being down 10 I think in the fourth quarter. So, it's an experienced group, a confident group, just proud of them.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, any last questions? Thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you.